Hello lone wolves, how are you doing? This video is a follow-up to my previous video about not dating for a long time as a MGTOW. If you haven't seen it, I've put a link in the description. Also, I have a couple of announcements. But before we continue, here is a message from my sponsor. If you dream about early retirement and packing your bags for a one-way trip to Asia, saying bye-bye to purple-haired feminists, manginas, strong independent women that have been riding the cock carousel in their 20s, and all the other undesirable perversions of the Western cuck-pocalypse, I've got some good news for you. Author and MGTOW Luca Venditti has written a book about how to achieve early financial independence and leave the West. He managed to retire on 200k in Asia and is happy to share how he did it. His book will cover in detail the high-yield deposit accounts available and how to capitalize on them for a guaranteed monthly passive income that grows with inflation, an extremely detailed budget breakdown, and much more. The book is called MGTOW's Guide to Retiring on 200k in Southeast Asia. And you can purchase it on MGTOWbooks.com. It comes in 4 formats: PDF, Mobi for Kindle, EPUB and text-to-speech. Use the promo code WOLF for an extra 10% off. So my last video got a lot of interesting comments, basically from men who tell us their experiences about dating and reasons whether or not to do it. But let's get the announcements out first. Firstly, since I'm getting busier in general, I've decided to plan so-called 7th week sabbaticals. This means that I will take a full week off of YouTube every 7th week. And well, this gives me some space to think, read, study, and very important, rest. And I think that this will reflect through my content in the long run. So yeah, I think it's only a positive thing. And it doesn't mean that I won't publish, because probably I will plan some content ahead. The thing is that I won't be here to reply to comments and stuff. The first week I will do this will be from the 27th of April until the 5th of May. Secondly, I will gladly take donations again, because I changed my stance on it. I didn't want to take donations mainly because I planned to cut down my uploads, but as you can see, I'm still uploading multiple times a week. So I figured out that your support is very much welcome. Although I made a remark about not wanting to be a beggar. Well, I'm not begging you. It's just that if you feel inclined and you want to support me or say thanks, then you're very much welcome to give a donation. I will be very happy with it. Thirdly, some good news. I have a Discord server so we can have a chat. I don't know how it works yet, but the link is in the description and expires after 24 hours. That said, let's go to the main subject. I'll start with a comment by Men Guarding Their Own Wallets, and I quote: "I'm 55 and last year I spent 2 months living with a 26-year-old lady. Was it worth it? Yes and no. The sex was great. It was fantastic. But the cost of supporting her, having to entertain her, having to live with her during the rest of the day when we were not having sex was just not worth it. I now honestly believe that it would have been far better to just have visited a new escort once a week for those 2 months and enjoy 8 new sexual experiences with 8 different women than to have had many sexual experiences with that one woman for those 2 months. And it would actually have been cheaper for me also. In Hong Kong, prostitution is 100% legal. Same with Singapore and Australia and Germany." End quote. Okay, my reaction. If it's only about the sex, then I think prostitution is hands down the best way to go, because you simply pay for a service, do your thing, and you are not required to entertain or spend time with the prostitute when you're not having sex. Personally, I'm not into prostitution, but I can surely understand why many men are. The thing is, though, that I believe that many men are looking for a deeper connection with a woman. You cannot get this from a prostitute. It's only possible in a relationship. I believe that the commenter doesn't really have the need for this deeper connection, but I'm not sure about it. If it's really just about the sex, then a relationship like he describes isn't worth the squeeze. But what if you are looking for a deeper connection? Is it worth it to spend all this time and energy to a woman? from my own experience, I can say that during relationships I thought of ending it simply because I found myself spending too much time doing stuff I don't really want to do. In general, men don't need much, and the men who do often need it to get female attention. Many women these days, especially the millennial ones in my experience, want a certain lifestyle and want to experience that lifestyle with you. Here's an example of my ex's lifestyle, my last ex. A way overpriced apartment in the old city center, and that's where everyone wants to live. 2 vacations a year, meaning going abroad, and 1 journey far away, for example to Asia, and not for retirement. Eating in a restaurant once a week, and doing drinks once a week, and going to several parties and festivals at least once a month. This is standard these days, and if you refuse to go with them, they will find other people to go with, as long as their wishes are fulfilled. And it seems that's more important than the relationship. Although every woman is different, in my case, this past relationship was not worth the squeeze. What those 2 years of non-dating have taught me is that I don't even need a fraction of the things that my ex needed. I have a gym membership, a roof over my head, food on the table, friends I hang out with from time to time, and an occasional trip, and I can find contentment in that. So I think it depends on the situation and on the woman. John Smith says, and I quote, "I haven't been late in over 8 years." He says that the last time was the 14th of February 2011 by the second ex-wife. In a way that it has been the best 8 years of my adult life. Our host here is speaking of some supposed pros of dating and getting laid. Trust me, there are no pros, only cons. When you get to my age, 64, you will look back upon your life and shake your head in disbelief at how you wasted your life chasing tail. My God, how I wish I knew then what I know now. Young men, listen to the battle-scarred veterans. MGTOW is a gift to be cherished. Cheers. End quote. I understand what you're saying. You know, you have done what you've done in the past, probably because you were a different person, and I suspect your sex drive was much bigger in your 20s and 30s. I think it's easier for a man your age to go monk, because you have already passed a few stages that many younger men are still going through. Sexual urges is a big one, especially in our sex-obsessed society. Can we blame men wanting to chase tail, especially when they see their peers doing it? So when we take that peer pressure and the sexual urges men have in their 30s out of the equation, then men would be a lot less likely to chase women. Intimacy with a woman seems to be such an important factor for men that they are willing to exchange their lives for it. I've talked about romantic love in a previous video, which is in my opinion another significant factor why men keep chasing women. It's that high that they are after. I believe you instantly when you say that the last 8 years of your life were the best years of your life. But how would you feel if you never had a relationship or sex at your age? Aren't you glad that you have experienced that, so you at least know what you're missing? It isn't my intention to judge, I'm just curious. All I can say is that the last 2 years of my life have been valuable and good for my physical and mental health, although I don't consider them the best years of my life in terms of joy. And that's the thing. This is what many guys my age are still after, joy, that often goes together with excitement. I believe that these ingredients, together with lust, compromise the thirst for women young men have. I mean, dating is exciting. Women are exciting. Going out and chasing women in the club is exciting. A one-night stand is exciting. Kissing a woman you barely know somewhere in a bar is exciting. But then again, getting a hooker can be exciting too, and so is skydiving. So from what I observe, it is that excitement that gravitates men and women towards each other all the time. Life without that excitement seems so dull at my age, even though I enjoy solitude, peace and quiet. I think the age difference is crucial here, and I dare to say that young men need their portion of excitement one way or the other. Isn't that part of the human experience? And again, is the juice worth the squeeze? Well, let me just say, I wouldn't want to change the past, and I'm glad I had these experiences because they define the person I am today. but I would definitely use my experiences to make other choices in the future. In other words, I wouldn't squeeze in the future like I did in the past to get the same juice again. Next comment is by JM, and I quote, I read an article yesterday that said that over half of young people in the US are without a romantic partner. Men are going their own way. Women are all competing for the top couple of guys who won't commit to any of them because they are getting some from so many women, so they have no reason to settle with anyone. End quote. In some way, I think this is a crucial comment. Back to my last experience with my ex-girlfriend, with her list of demands and ridiculous living standards, I think that many men are opting out because it seems that the majority of today's women, well, are just like that. And the other way around, the majority of women thinks that the majority of men isn't good enough. So yes, these men are literally sent their own way, unless they jump through 5 to 10 hoops to have a chance. If it's just about sex, there are hookup apps, prostitutes, sex dolls, Pornhub, in other words, plenty of options. Compare that to the work you have to put in dating a woman, and you know which way many men choose to go. But again, is it just about sex? Well, I think that many men actually want the relationship. They want that deeper connection with a woman. They want to have what, for example, their parents had and their grandparents had. But they notice that with the current rigged sexual marketplace, the odds are against them. And they have to self-improve to the point that they're not true to themselves anymore to at least have a chance. So we can at least say that men, in general, seem to be expected to squeeze harder while getting less juice in return. Also, you say that men are going their own way, although I see that women are going their own way just as hard. Let's turn it around. You have an army of men competing for you. Beta orbiters, hundreds of Tinder matches, and most of these women are independent, have decent to good salaries, and spend their time doing exactly what they want, like hanging out with their friends, going on vacations, whining and dining. So when they feel an urge, they just send a message on WhatsApp to some alpha male to get their sexual needs met, and off they go again. I think this is going to be the standard in the future, actually. I mean, why would a woman settle down? They literally don't need a man. At least not as a romantic partner. They need men to keep the gynocentric society going, that's for sure, but they don't need a man by their side to survive in our Western society. Maybe they want companionship when they are older and settle for a guy, but even older women still have many options these days. So is the juice really not worth the squeeze? I think it depends on what you want and what your expectations are. If you keep your expectations low, then I think it's fine to date women. Just keep your eyes open and expect nothing. Anyway, I want to hear your opinion about this, which you can post below. Thank you for watching, keep it solitary, goodbye.